I am Matthew Herzberg, and this is the Myopia Mindset. In this episode, Matthew Martin is back to join us for his unique approach to getting 5-star reviews for his myopia management practice. This is a great episode you are not going to want to miss. And if you are one of our Substack supporters, if you went to myopiamindset.substack.com, you're going to get an extended version of this episode. This is an amazing episode. I learned so much. I was furiously taking notes as Matthew was talking. So let's get to it. Okay, welcome to the Myopia Mindset. This is my favorite kind of podcast to do because I have one of my favorite human beings on the face of the planet, Dr. Matthew Martin. He's an amazing orthokeratologist, a renowned speaker. He's a fellow. He is one of those people who you need to know. If you see this guy at a meeting, introduce yourself. He is an incredible component of our community and the myopia industry. Matthew Martin, welcome to the podcast.
I am over the moon excited to be here. I'm at the end of a long day today, and I've been looking forward to this from the first patient right till the end. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to talk myopia. I'm excited to talk about reviews for myopia. I'm excited to give people ideas on things they can do. Frankly, I'm just excited.
That's awesome. And that's our topic, is reviews. And Matthew, I'm super excited about this episode for a lot of reasons, but one of those reasons is the audience, if they've been paying attention since episode 1, I made a promise to the audience that we would be learning together as we go. And this topic especially, I know almost nothing about. I grew up in a practice where reviews just weren't a thing. All of our stuff was referral based. So I'm going to be taking a lot of notes. I've got my paper, I've got my pen, and I'm ready to go. So let's define the topic. What are we thinking when we're talking about myopia management reviews?
Okay, so I think there's two things to think about here, and I have really strong opinions on this subject, so don't hesitate to rein me in or get out of the way. Those are your two choices, but yep. I got lots to say on this. So I am a huge proponent of making sure that you have a good system in place for systemizing reviews of the practice or of your myopia management program, okay? And reviews are really interesting. I think you elucidated or commented earlier on the way things used to be versus the way things are today. So it used to be, and I've been doing myopia management now, or Ortho-K anyway, since 2002, which goes back a piece. And then I've owned a practice since 2001. So it used to be that when you did something, patients would see you and they would refer other patients to you. And it was really just that cut and dry. Patients came to see you. I heard you were nice. I came to the office because of that. But having a presence on Google and other locations where people are able to review your services, when people are out looking for a new eye doctor, they always Google it. And I think this comes down to that Amazon mentality. Mm-hmm. And the reason I use the term Amazon mentality is I'm a big outdoorsman. I hunt, I fish, I'm always doing these fun outdoor stuff. And outdoor equipment is expensive. And I don't want to buy a new ice fishing rod. I don't want to buy a new whatever thing I'm buying unless I find out if other people like it. So I go on Amazon and I look at the reviews. Now, I might buy local because I believe in buying local, but oftentimes I'll reuse that review system to figure out what is legitimately going to be a good item and what's not, okay? So I'm a huge fan of reviews. Now, the main review system that most patients come to us on is Google, right? So if you Google Auburn Optical, which I'm actually going to do while we're talking right now because that's the kind of guy I am, I'm going to Google Auburn Optical, okay? And when I look at Auburn Optical, we have 425 reviews. Not bad, okay? Those are 425 reviews. We have a 5-star rating, which is nice, okay? a lot of people come to us from Googling our name and looking at our reviews. And then if you open the reviews, you're going to find a lot of my reviews are for myopia management and specifically for Ortho-K. Now, this also holds true for Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to a lesser extent, Instagram, TikTok, those other social media places. I am less enthusiastic about social media now than I was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are just tired of social media, okay? You're constantly inundated with it, the political spectrum, all the craziness that happens on there these days. But I think getting good Google reviews is absolutely essential to growing your myopia management practice, okay? And Facebook as well, absolutely, okay? Facebook is one of those odd things. I hardly go on Facebook for personal reasons anymore, again,
Mm-hmm.
because there are so many negative, evil, politically directed, just energy sink type people on there, okay? So I don't use Facebook as much as I used to. But I can tell you it's an incredibly useful tool. I had 3 patients today that came to our office from Facebook reviews, okay? One of them specifically came to us because there's a section in our area that's called Midland Complains. And people go on to complain and dish dirt about places that don't do a good job. So there was a patient complaining about how they were treated by an eye doctor, and one of our patients jumped on and said, "You need to see Dr. Martin because he's amazing." So the patient listens to that review on Facebook, comes in to see us. We treat them like people because we're nice to people and we like people. And of course, they go back on and tell everyone how wonderful we are. So
Mm-hmm.
3 different patients today, which is probably, I don't know, $1,000, $1,200, maybe $800 worth of income for us came from those 3 Google reviews or those 3 people accessing a Facebook review.
Okay.
So I think people realize how important it is to manage your presence, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
you know? When it comes to reviews, there are a number of different ways to start getting people to do reviews for you. Feel free to chip in, but I'm just going to roll for a while.
Keep
And then
going.
when you're
Yeah.
done, you can just hit me with questions.
Yeah.
So one of the most magical things that you can do is this right here. I'm going to hold this up. All this
All
is
right.
a card. And if you look on the back of this card, it says, "Did we make your day?" Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It would make our day if you left us a review. Share your experience on Google or Facebook in just 2 easy steps. Okay.
Okay.
I think reviews were much easier to get 7, 8, 10 years ago than they are now.
Okay. Why is that?
I think people are tired.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that when you go into every place, they ask you if you want a review and they send it to you on the
Yes.
phone? I
Yes.
think people are just done to death from that, right?
Yeah.
If I
It's
go to pick up
exhausting.
my sandwich on Subway and they send me a thing that says review us, I'm like, really? I picked up
Mm-hmm.
my sandwich there. Not sure if that quite qualifies for a review, right?
Right.
It's much harder. It's a steeper energy of activation. Are you familiar with energy of activation?
It sounds familiar, but I
Okay.
really don't know it.
I'm going to take you back to chemistry class.
Okay.
In chemistry, there's a thing called energy of activation. And energy of activation is the energy that you have to input into an equation or a chemistry experiment in order to get that experiment to happen. So you have to put a certain amount of energy into it, and then sometimes it'll just run itself after that, right? But you have to have that startup energy, for lack of a better term. So the energy of activation to get someone to actually give you a Google review or actually give you a Facebook review is higher now than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Okay.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
easier to get a negative review than ever before,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Yeah.
everyone's unhappy. Like a
Yeah.
really humongous part of the population, like at least 50% of the nation, is legitimately unhappy. They're just
Mm-hmm.
unhappy. They're unhappy all the time. They're angry. So I think it's important to get good Google reviews into your system. So we're going to go back to our card. Okay. Patient comes in to see me. Let's say that they come in for a myopia management evaluation, okay? They come in, I see their child, I say, "Hey, your child is 6 years old. They're already a -1, okay? We're gonna run them on the myopia master. We see that their axial length is longer than we would like it to be, okay? And we can tell the parent, look, your child's going to end up a -6, a -7, a -8, depending on how long their eyeball is, what their genetic disposition is, and where they're at in the process of already becoming nearsighted. Okay. If I work with that parent and I do a good job, okay, and I offer them some treatment options. Would you like to do peripheral defocus contact lenses? Would you like to do ortho K, which is near and dear to my heart? Would you like to do low dose atropine? Okay. Oftentimes those people will say yes, and then we get them in our myopia management program. Sometimes those patients will say, I want to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. When I finish with them, I give them one of these cards and I say to them, if we did a good job today, can you give us a Google review? I know it only takes 2 minutes of your time, but it makes a big difference. I think the card, the physical appreciation of saying, I enjoyed you today. I'm glad you were in the office. Would you give us a Google review? I think that's huge. I think so few offices ask. I run into offices who have, we're going to Google my competition in town. Okay. We're not going to actually.
Don't say their name so I don't have to bleep anything out.
We're not going to actually take a look, but they have 27 reviews, okay, compared to our 425. And I know that at least one of the reviews is actually for me. One of the reviews actually has my name on it and says, Dr. Martin is amazing, and that's not my office, right? So it's good to make sure that you're getting lots of reviews. And this to me is one of the magical ways to do it. Okay. So few doctors do this, and you should do this for all your patients. Honestly, anytime you have a good reaction, I give them a card. Okay. Now, not everyone's going to take the time to do it. It's a lot of work. It takes effort. They got to look at it. They got to click on the thing. They got to say a few sentences or even something. And let's face it, people are just burned out. Right. But I think giving them a card, and there's ours, okay, makes a huge difference. And if people want to reach out to me, people listen to this podcast and they want to reach out to me, they can reach out to me at auburnoptical@gmail.com, and I will get them a copy of this bad devil.
All right.
And they can steal it. I mean, don't steal my colors and my logo, because honestly, my colors are cool. But, I'm in it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen for you.
I love it. I love it. You're striking while the iron is hot too.
Oh my gosh. It is so much easier when they're excited.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you're not waiting for a follow-up visit or whatever the case may be. It's like you've developed that radar for a positive patient interaction. And then you're capitalizing on it in that moment.
And I think it works really well too. Sometimes if they don't give you a Google review right away, then when you see them at the 1 month mark and their kid is a rock and roll 2020, they're wearing their retainers, they couldn't be happier. And mom's like, I love Ortho K. It's wonderful. I'm so happy. Hey, can you give me a Google review? The only way other people are going to find about the services that we offer, and the only way other people who have nearsighted children are going to learn that we do this is if you help me to help them. So can you give them this card, or can you, make a Google review for me? I think that's hugely impactful. And I think the physicality of having something, I think that's fire as well.
Yeah, because they're taking it with them. Whereas if it's just a sign in the office or a suggestion without a handout, it's easily out of mind. It's out of sight, out of mind as soon as they leave the office.
That's 100% true. We should also talk about volume. Okay.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of volume. So let's say that your office has 5 Google reviews. Okay, let me go back. Every office has patients who are not pleasant. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
We have a patient who's in our office. We've jumped through hoops of fire to make them happy. We were not able to make them happy. I offered to return their money. I offered to return their money and give them a gift card so that they could go to the restaurant of their choice. I mean, we've gone through all these things. This person just isn't happy, and we're not going to make them happy, and they're angry. There's a chance they could give us a bad review. That does happen, right?
Yeah.
Reviews are, especially Google reviews and Facebook reviews, are really all about volume. If you have 5 Google reviews because you're not asking for reviews,
Hmm.
and someone gives you a bad review, that's going to knock your score down significantly when it comes to how many stars you're getting, right?
Yeah.
If you have 425 reviews and someone comes in as a stinker and is like, this office sucks. If I could give 0 stars, I would. And Dr. Martin's terrible and he's secretly a
Uh-huh.
dragon or whatever.
Yeah.
That's much less impactful on the overall performance of your reviews.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does. And one of the reasons why it makes a lot of sense is because there's a concept of social proof when it comes to reviews and in social media. And if you have an outstanding number of reviews, some part of that may not land with someone who's going through those reviews unless they see maybe a 4 out of 5 or unless they see a bad review. So if you're making it up in volume, it gives you more credibility because human beings aren't stupid. We know that people get unhappy or whatever the case may be. Like I was looking up reviews for a hotel once and the review was like 1 star. They're like, I would have given 0 if I could, like you said. And you look at their what they wrote, they said the rooms were clean, it was a safe location, the building was great, it was quiet, the staff was super nice, but I didn't get my cookie. And it's like you didn't get your cookie, so you gave them a 1 out of 5 star review,
Yeah.
but all their other reviews, were of that top notch, that 5 star. So it gave it even more credibility.
Yeah, and I think that that's very, very true. And I think again, coming back to the to me, Amazon reviews were the first place I really started to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
When I look at a Amazon review and it's got 50 people and 4.5 stars, I start to pick through the reviews and they all sound like they were generated because they
Mm-hmm.
do that brigading thing sometimes where they're
Yeah.
just like making them up. But if I look at one that has 5,374 reviews and it's a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I can pick through and look at the top 10 of them, I know that's legit,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
volume does speak volume,
Right.
right? So I think it's essential for people to be trying to get those into the hopper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll let folks in on another secret.
All right. Let's have it.
The only reason I'm letting people in on this secret because this is like making balloon animals like nobody else. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I make balloon animals. I made one on stage at Vision by Design this year. But I started doing this like 18 or 20 years ago. Like nobody did this, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I make balloon animals for the kids. Just, I don't dress up or anything funny. I'm a professional the whole time, but I make up balloon animals for the kids because they love it. And then kids love me, right? So um, what I do now is when I go to a meeting, especially at like Vision by Design or one of those other meetings, when I come off stage from talking, I'm going to start asking people to give me reviews.
Okay.
Because then if you click on my reviews, you can see, oh, that doctor saw Dr. Martin speak and thought he sounded intelligent. Therefore, that Dr. Martin must be pretty sharp. So here's one from the GSLS meeting I was at 6 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Martin is a fantastic lecturer. I attended some of his lectures at a large international conference. Wonderful content. He really knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, boom. There is.
This is a review that was left for your practice.
Yeah.
So your potential patients are looking up these Google reviews and they're like, not only is he a good doctor, he lectures on this, and this like instantly raises your like not just credibility, your skill, you are the expert. Like that. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And there's no reason other doctors couldn't do this. You don't have to be on stage. You
Okay.
could go to a meeting, meet two of your colleagues, and be like, dude, I'm so glad I met you. Let's work on some stuff. I'm interested in helping you. You help me. Oh, let me toss you a Google review. I really liked working with Dr. Johnson. He and I were at this myopia management meeting. Both of us are super excited about myopia management. And I know after talking to him that he's going to be fantastic with your kids because he's enthusiastic, he's
Mhm.
honest, and he's excited about it.
Right.
And then it's a
love it.
doctor complimenting a doctor. And who the
Yeah.
heck doesn't like that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it further adds to it. And people that a lot of docs, especially new to myopia management docs, are so squeamish about even talking about what they do. When I was the executive director of the AAOMC, I would say if you want a press release for visiting, for coming to Vision by Design, let me know. You should be telling your patients that you go to the premier myopia management ortho K meeting in the world because that means something and you should be mentioning it. And I'm
Yeah, darn
surprised at how
right.
many don't. Yeah.
No, darn right. And it just adds to the cachet because now you're not just the average guy. And
Mm-hmm.
I say guy non-sexually, so I don't care, right? You're not just the
Okay.
average doctor. Now you're the doctor that goes to meetings, that pays attention to myopia, that's excited about slowing myopia, that's into myopia management, that knows about atropine, that knows about peripheral defocus contact lenses, that knows about ortho K, that's excited about the new glasses or spectacles coming out. I mean, all that stuff is a feather in your cap, and we're just foolish not to take advantage of it.
Yeah. And it's this out of the box style of thinking that if you really just like take some time to run it through, just like, find a quiet place, sit down and really think about it. It's like using reviews in a way that people aren't using them is a total advantage that you have,
Darn right. And any doctor listening to this podcast could go out and do this.
Right.
The card is easy to make. You just throw your logo on it. Would you give us a review? And then my staff gives them out when I'm not giving them out. But I will tell you, the staff doesn't get as much traction as I do.
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
Although I
Yeah.
will tell you, here's something that Dwight Barnes suggested, not this card, but something to do with this card. And I tried it in my office and it went poorly, but only because of the style of office I run and the staff I run.
Okay.
Okay, so let me explain to you what it is. What Dwight Barnes suggested, and I'm pretty sure if I Google Dwight Barnes, I'm going to find out he's got a ton more reviews than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is what Dwight Barnes does is he tells the staff, if you get a Google review, I'm going to give you $10.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever the staff sees a patient, they're like, did you enjoy working with me today? Would you give me a Google review?
Mm-hmm.
And they're more motivated.
Yeah.
Okay. I stopped doing it in my office because I had one staff member who was really, really good at it.
Okay.
I got about 3 reviews in a week, and the rest of the staff was salty because they weren't getting the reviews that he was, right?
Right.
Mostly
Yeah.
because he's just good at the delivering component.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, it caused a lot of grief in my practice, and we had to shut it down because I can't do anything in my practice that's competitive between staff members. So other offices, there's a thing called the game of eye care where you have this person try to compete with that person, and then whoever does better, blah, blah, blah. That really works great at other offices. It does not work for my crew. My crew does not like to compete with each other. It just goes very badly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's brilliant. And I think if you went to your staff and was like, hey, we're going to work on our Google reviews. We only have 400 Google reviews. I'd like to have 500 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
every person who gets a Google review with their name on it. I worked with Max. What a wonderful experience
That
it
was my next question.
I'm
Yeah.
going to give him $10. Then shoot. I mean, you could have a big office where a staff member racks up 10 of those in a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's $100 out of your pocket, which sounds like a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money for all those reviews.
It's a marketing expense. Like
Marketing expense.
like it's difficult to produce better marketing strategies, right? Because that is an in-person reaction. It's motivated by your staff, so it's working independently and organically without you having to directly be involved, and it's very targeted. You're doing a very targeted marketing campaign instead of like casting that wide net and maybe like paying for, I don't know, like Google AdWords or something on Facebook. You are doing a targeted experience, and if the staff is doing the same thing that you're doing, then your patients trust them as well. It's part of that experience. So that is a marketing expense.
I think it's one of the more brilliant ideas. It did not work for us,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it could very
Oh,
well
that's
work in
awesome.
another office.
Yeah.
But that's one of the brilliant things about owning a private practice and being the kind of go-getters that most myopia management people are. So let's start off with the fact that there's not that many people who are into myopia management. If you're listening to this podcast, you need to give yourself a pat on the back
Totally.
because there's not many doctors who are going to take the time to get excited about myopia management like we are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think you need to realize how special that is
Right.
because not everyone is like, woo. I mean, I'm stoked about it all the time. And I've been doing this for 23 years now. I mean, that it takes a rare individual to be as excited about it as the myopia management people tend to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That has been a big part of my career, over the 20 years that I've been in this industry. I learned early on that essentially we are looking for diamonds in the rough. We are looking for a very specific kind of people. Not every doctor should do myopia management, in my opinion, but those that do, guess what? Like, this is a great place for you to like relearn a passion and get engaged and change your life for the better.
Which brings me to my plug at every single podcast we do for Vision by Design.
Sure. Yeah.
So I was just at GSLS, and I don't know how many GSLS people listen to myopia management podcasts, but
Mhm.
GSLS is the big contact lens. It's custom contact lenses. It's sclerals and fancy stuff, and they say they do some myopia management there, and they do a little bit of it. I'm here to tell you that Vision by Design is easily the most passionate, enthusiastic, excited, nerdy, an engaged group of myopia management people you will meet on the planet. There's no better meeting. When I
Totally.
go to that meeting, I know I'm going to run into people who are stoked and who are all in on myopia management. And more importantly, they want you to like it as much as they do.
Mhm.
So the GSLS meeting I was just at, and I'm going to throw a little shade here, so hopefully that I don't get disinvited from the meeting. But a lot of the doctors I run into at the GSLS meeting and other meetings, it's host for Vision Expo to some extent and some other meetings, they all kind of have this thing where they're like, I know something you don't know, but I'm
Mhm.
not going to show you. It's I do this thing I do. I'm special. Nope, can't see it. And that's fit to drive me crazy.
Right.
When I go to Vision by Design, everyone is like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this new thing. I just found out about it. Let me show you about it. Let me tell you how to do it. Let me send you a file. Let me send you a Google Drive. I'm so excited. Let me share.
Yeah.
That's where the fire is at. That's where the magic's at. All right. So that was my
Yeah.
every podcast plug
No,
for
that's all
Vision
right.
by
We talk
Design.
about we talk about Vision by Design a lot on this meeting or I'm sorry, on this podcast, and it's for all the reasons you mentioned and more. It is the best myopia meeting on the planet. There's no competition there. But also the AAOMC is an organization that you're going to want to join and be a part of because it's filled with people just like Matthew Martin.
Yeah,
And
and everyone's excited.
yeah. So we are no strangers to talking about those two things on this podcast.
So I think that's most of my thoughts on reviews. Now, do you have, oh, we should talk about responding.
Yes, okay.
So responding to reviews is fraught with a lot of controversy.
Okay. All right, well, that's it for this regular version of the episode, but the discussion doesn't stop here. It actually continues in an extended version of this episode, which is available to our Substack supporters. You can, if you're interested in getting the rest of the episode, consider becoming a paid supporter of the Myopia Mindset. In addition to an extended version of this episode and every other episode that we do, you'll also get access to exclusive monthly bonus episodes of the Myopia Mindset. And I know you're interested. You've made it this far. And for the cost is $12 a month, which is basically the cost of a cup of coffee each and every week. And that's how I like to put it. Listen, if you would buy me a cup of coffee each and every week to nerd out about myopia, to bring on amazing guests, to spread the word about how awesome myopia management is and how more ECPs should be engaged in this specialty, then please consider becoming a paid supporter of the Myopia Mindset. You can do so on our Substack, myopiamindset.substack.com is how you do that. Thank you so much for your consideration. I'll see you at the next one.